Okay guys, so we're ready to filter the bit I like, the filtering of the gold foils from the mobile phones. So what I'm doing first is getting some cotton wool actually. So you can forget about that bit. Because these are going to be very fine pins or flakes of gold. So what I do is I'll just get some cotton wool. You've probably seen this in the previous video, and we shove it down into the actual nozzle of this funnel. So what this does is it makes a barrier, slows everything down a bit, but it should hopefully catch any flakes, as you can see from previous ones. You can see here where it caught the flakes going down. So again, these are all older ones from other filtrations I've been doing. You can see gold flakes on them, so all these will be done with nitric at the end. I do them every so often once I get a good batch of them together. So once we've that in, we just push our filter paper in and we'll just spray it wet. We just want to get it a nice little spray of water on it. We'll double filter it. So we put that there first, and then we get another coffee filter. These are just regular coffee filters I bought online, or I think it was online I got these ones. So again, we'll just wet it, push it down a bit, seal it up against the sides, and we'll go for a third one because they're looking fairly thin today for some reason. It doesn't look like it's... Just make sure you wet all the sides and press it up against the previous filter paper so that you're getting a good filtration. So that's the filter paper ready. So we'll put that aside. We're going to start with fairly clean, nearly dropped it, fairly clean ones. So you can see in here, you can actually see the flakes floating around in there and some other little debris and stuff. So just a matter of pouring that off. So you can see flakes floating around in here. They'll all filter down to the bottom. And to get by the filter, we'll get caught up by the cotton wool, and at the end I should be just left with what you call left in them, just left with the gold flakes. Again, I'll put that aside for a second and let that work away. I just want to show you the other one I'm working on, and then we'll go to the shed where the main batch of it is, and we'll just start the filtration on them ones as well. And then we'll come back when it's all fully filtered. I'm just showing you what else has to be filtered here. So in here, this has to be filtered. But as you can see, there's a lot of debris floating around, as well as the gold flakes. There's a lot of like paper off the mobile phone boards, bit of solder mask. So it will be dirty enough. What I'm left when I filtered all, there will be bits of rubbish and stuff like that. I'll try and pick out not as much of the paper before it gets down into the filter system, into the filtering, and but it doesn't really make a difference, because when I go on to the next stage, the acid will dissolve everything, and then when we precipitate back out the gold, we're just left with the gold. The rest will stay in solution. So that's what the plan is anyhow. So guys, let's go to the shed. I'm going to leave these filtering here, and we'll go to the shed and get more going, and then we'll come back at the very end and see what we've got in the filters when it's fully finished. Okay guys, so I'm in the shed now again, and I have the mask on, because again we're dealing with the acids over here in the bucket, and we have our two filters set up. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to spend too long, I'll take my mask off for a minute because I haven't started agitating the acid, so there's no real strong smell yet. But I'm not going to spend too long explaining what I'm doing. You'll have seen this in my previous videos with the foils on the ram sticks where I've just filtered them out. So all I'm going to do is take the liquid from the solution in the bucket, pour it through the filters, and we'll see what gold we get at the end of it. So I'll just put a couple of scoops in, and then we'll skip to the end where we see what we've got in the filters. So stick the mask back on because I'm going to be agitating the acid a bit when I'm taking it out, so that will make it smell a lot stronger. It'll start to vapour up around me. So what I'm going to do is take a jug, and we're going to just take a bit of that acid out. A couple of drips will land on the ground. It's just the way it happens. So okay, so that's it. We just let that filter through. We'll do the whole bucket. We have another bucket. I've got 2 buckets to filter through, and we'll come back and see what results we've got. How much gold have we got flakes in the actual bucket, or in the filters when we filter it all through. So let's jump onto that, guys, and let's see how we got on. Okay guys, so as you can see, we're nearly finished filtering. Well, you can't really see until I show you. So that's the bucket which had all that liquid in it earlier on. As you can see, there's still some gold foils in there, which I'm going to filter out in a minute. I'm going to put distilled water in, and we're going to get them out, because there's a lot of debris, a lot of stuff that is mixed in with them foils, but we'll wash them out into another container. So let me just zoom out, I might give you a better view. So you can kind of see there that there's still gold foils all around that bucket, which need to be filtered out. And I have, let me zoom back in, oh, wrong way. Zoom back in there. So they're filtering away. You can see the gold foils all around the filter, and the same here in this one. And we have 2 fresh ones ready to go, fresh filters that I'm going to do the last of that bucket in. So I'll just set myself up there. We'll wash them out, we'll filter them through to that bucket through there, and we should be finished then, and we should just be able to see what sort of amount of foils we got. A lot of it, as I said, is going to be dirty because of the mobile phones. They do seem to be a lot harder to get the foils off. The foils are a lot smaller, a lot more bits and pieces come off with them as well. So I haven't decided whether I'll give it another, once I have all the powders with the gold dust in it, or not the gold dust, the gold foils. I might run it through just some HCl again to clean it up, or I might just run it through nitric to clean it up, or I might just leave it and throw it all in with just HCl and nitric and just dissolve it and then precipitate it back out. I haven't decided. Whatever you think is the best way, guys. While you're at it there now, anyone that's done this before, would you give it a wash again to clean out clean out any more copper bits that may be still left mixed in, or some of that dirt to clean it up a bit so that you're just left with the foils? Or would you just put it straight into HCl and add the nitric and dissolve it and then precipitate it back out? What would you do? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you do. So that acid that I'm left with, the bucket of acid that I'm left with now, after I've drained it all out, I'll reuse that. I'll just add a bit more hydrochloric acid to it. I have a lot of foils from the mobile phone, so then if anyone that'll see, the foils that come off the mobile phones, I don't think I have any of them here at the moment, do I do? So there'll be a lot of these, which again will have the gold on them. So I'm going to do that acid, and I'm going to throw these in to that and try and get the foils off. So there'll be a video coming up on that as well, guys, so keep an eye out for that video, and we'll see how we get on with these. Again, with it all being sticky and stuff like that, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I haven't done them before, So anyone that has, again, leave it in the comments how you got on. So let's go and check out how my filtering got on, and we'll see how we got on once I cleaned it all out, and see how dirty the end product is and how much gold foils we have. So let's have a look, guys. Okay, so we're ready to do some filtering. So we have the gloves on. Well, we filtered already, but to see what's in the filters. So as you can see here, you can see the gold flakes around, but there's a lot of dirt in this as well. But there is quite a good bit of gold in it, as you'll see. When I just add a bit of water to it, you'll see the gold float up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to refilter this again, but I just wanted to show you. You can see in there, that's all gold flakes. So it's just when I brush them down, or water them down into the place, you can see them. But there's a lot of dirt, which I was expecting from the mobile phones, because I've seen it when the process was on, that there was a lot of debris coming off the phones, where I would have burnt some of the mobile phone when I was heating it up. So that came off in the acid then, which it got loosened, but I don't think it'll make a difference when I go to process fully. So that's just to show you that there is gold in there. You can see it there when I shake it. You can see the gold floating around in it. So there's quite a nice bit of gold in there. My plan is I'm going to refilter it again, but I'm going to wash these filters out in here in some distilled water. So that's what I plan on doing. So we're just going to add the distilled water. That should be enough. So that's nice clean distilled water. I'm going to put the filters in. I'm going to spray them off into it. So we'll just lift them out as best we can. As this one has a lot of moisture. I'll leave that one for a minute actually. I'm going to just go with the one that is dried up first. Let some of that water drain down through the filter. So you can see it here. You can see the paper. You can see the gold foils. You can see some of the green mask. So it is a dirty process, this one, but I should still get a nice yield gold hopefully at the end from it. So we'll just take the filter out and we put them in here. So you can see why I put the cotton wool at the bottom, because you can see the gold. So there's gold here, it has to be washed out. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave that there yet. We'll just wash the filters. So we open out the filters and we'll try and get as much of the gold bearing material off. So we'll just wash the filters down into the bowl if I can, or into the container. So just stick it on the edge there for a minute until we get the bottom filter up. So again, I'll just stick it on the edge if I can get it to open out like that, and we'll just spray it down. And we'll try and get as much of this into the water as possible. Again, whatever I don't get, I'll put the filters in with the rest of the filters from other clean-ups that I was doing, and we'll get all the gold off it that way. So, as you can see, from all I do is I hold on to the old filters from other cleanups. You can see there's gold, bits of gold in here. So when I'm processing them at a later date, I'll get everything that didn't come off the filter straight away. So like, again, there's some stuff there that I won't get off, so I'll just put it in there. There's no point wasting a lot of time on it. Again, get the next one ready. So we'll try and get the bottom part off first. So I'm just spraying the gold foils, the dirt, everything gets sprayed in here. And once I have a good bit of it off, I'll turn the filter around and get it from the other side. So we'll try and spread the filter out a bit. Okay, and we'll turn the filter around. As I say, this is just the way I do it. No one has to do it this way. They can just, I just like to give it another filter, that's all. So again, you can see the filter there still contains some gold, very minute pieces of gold. So we'll just try and wash it down. And once I've that done, I just put the filter in with the other filters and let it dry off, and then process them at a different date. Also, what I have is, you look here, these ones, you can see the gold foils in here again, but it's mixed in again with a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to mix it in with this black dirty stuff. I'm going to mix it in, just mix these afterwards. I'll wash these out and refilter them and see what we get. Again, you can see here on the filter, it's mixed in with a lot of different stuff, the gold foils are. There's a lot of little bits of the computer board or the mobile phone board, and also here again you can see the gold down there, but you can also see a lot of bits of mobile phone, but it shouldn't make a difference when I go to the next stage of processing. So what I'm going to do now is try and get this filter out. I don't want to spill any of it, so we'll just let it straight off into there. And you can see the packed gold falling off in there, which is nice to see. And then I'll set up a new filter to filter out again one more time, and whatever I get then, that's it. That's my final process, and that's put in a little tub to be processed later with nitric acid and hydrochloric acid to dissolve the gold foils. It should dissolve nearly everything in there, and it'll leave anything that isn't a metal, and then we just have to precipitate back out the gold foils. So I'll just clean this one down, and then once I have this one down, I'll put these filtering again, and we'll come back once they're filtered. I'll also clean out the actual funnels as well, where some of the gold has got on the funnel sides. I'll wash them into here as well, so that we get as much of the gold as possible, but I don't miss any, because again the filters are reprocessed, will be put into hydrochloric and hydrochloric acid and nitric to make acarija, which will dissolve the gold, and then we'll precipitate it out, and we'll be left with just fine gold dust, and the rest of the stuff will stay in the solution, and I usually refine it 2 or 3 times to get the purity of it up. So first time I might get, we'd say 2 grams maybe, or something like that. Next time I process it, it might be 1.8 grams, and next time, so eventually with the purity you might end up down at 1.2 grams or something like that, where you started with 2, or depending on the purity of the gold, but at least you'll have good pure gold. So we're nearly done there, just one more time around this side, and then whatever's left will be put in with the rest of the papers. The foil. So you can see there, there's still some gold on it. You can see the very, very fine gold in there. I just move this jar underneath, so when I lift it up close to the camera, it'll drip down into there, so you can see very, very fine gold, but it's all gold. So again, that is just put aside. Inside of here you can see the gold again, which has settled there. So all I do is I just wash out the containers, let it all in here for filtering, so that we're not missing out on any gold. You can see how black it is. Again, these cotton wool bits will be taken out and put in with the other stuff for filtering. So again, you can see the gold here floating around in there. So we just wash it off into this. So that we're getting it all out. So again, some more over here. You can see it down around here as well. So I'll just give that a quick wash and try and get it all out. So it's very, very fine gold, but we just make sure we try and get as much of it out as we can. So inside of here now, you can see the gold as it settles down inside the jar or inside the container. So it's a nice bit of gold there, mixed in with other bits and pieces, but I'm not too bothered about that. So I'm going to refilter these again. So I'll just get some filter paper. So I'll just set up the filtration again, same as I did any of the other ones. I'll just put that aside there for a moment. So again, we just set the filter paper up. We get a bit more distilled water because I'm running low on it. I'll just pause that while I get fill up this again with some distilled water for spraying, and we'll get another filtration going. Okay, we're back. So just try and, no, I want to set this up differently, wrong way. Okay, so we'll just spray the filters, that way they'll stick to the sides better and give a bit more area to cover when we're filtering into it. So all I'm going to do is pour this off into the jar or into the filters and let it filter through so that we can get our okay, so that's it filled. As you can see in here, you can see all the gold floating around. It is mixed in with other bits and pieces, but it's a nice amount of it. It's very, very fine gold from the mobile phones, but all adds up, guys, all adds up. So we'll come back once I filter that completely, and that takes a bit of time to filter out through these jars. So once I've that filtered completely, we'll come back, which will be instant for you guys, and we'll see how we get on, what sort of amount. We should have a nice amount on the bottom of the filter, and I'll just put that into a little container. I'll scrape it off into a little container, something like one of those containers. We'll scrape it off into that and we'll put that aside, and it'll be left to be processed at a later date. At the moment, today is the 15th of March I'm doing this, 2020. So we're in the midst of this coronavirus. So there's talk of there being a complete lockdown in Ireland for the next 2 weeks or so. So if there is, I'll be off work. So I might try and get a few more videos out. We don't know what's going to happen with work and stuff like that. So that's the worrying thing about it. We don't know how people are going to get paid, how people are going to survive. I say I've been making sure I have a bit of food in the freezer, stuff like that. But guys, anyone that's going to be on lockdown, anyone maybe from Ireland that's watching this, try and stay safe, try and stay away from people who may be vulnerable, just because you don't have what mightn't be affected from the coronavirus. You might just get a little cold or a little bit of a flu. Anyone that has an underlying health issue or older could kill them. So I know it can be an inconvenience, and I know it's a lot of uncertainty and stuff like that because of it. But if we do go into lockdown, just try and make the most of it. If you're into YouTube, watch some YouTube. Why not watch some of my Scrapping Irish videos? Kind of join some of my live shows, stuff like that. So we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see how the filtration got on. And God knows if this has been watched in 20 years time still, if I'm still up on YouTube, this video, people will be looking back and saying the coronavirus, all it was something simple to get rid of it or something like that. It'll be just like a common cold. But at the moment, it's an epidemic and pandemic, as the World Health Organization has called it. So we just have to get through it as best we can. So let's see how we got on with that filtration. Okay, so we have filtered it out. Now I've all the water taken out, and I'm left with the filters, which I've dried out a bit, so that it makes it easier to see what we've got. So I'm left with some filters like the likes of these, which still have a bit of gold on them, but they'll be put in with the bigger pile of filters that I need to do. So you can actually see the gold foil still in along there. So they're just put in to be dealt with again at a later date. And we're just going to do a little bit of a weigh up. As you can see, I'll show you here now in a minute the way to just move some of this stuff out of the way, make it a bit easier to do it. So these are the filters being moved out of the way. Okay, so we have our little scales just to get a way out. Now it won't give me a true weight of gold because some of it is, we'll just put that on top there. So I'm at 0 there now, and I'm just going to put these dried green and bits of board and bits of actual foils. So we'll just tip that in there. So again, we'll be left with some that won't go in. Let's have a look. So you can see there again, there's some gold foils left on there. So we'll try and get as much of it out as we can. Okay, so it's only about 8 grams. Well, that's milliliters, but we'll change it to grams. So what's about 8 grams? Very little in there, very light. But you can see there is some gold foils, but there's a lot of other stuff mixed in with it. So I'll put that aside and I'll treat that with nitric and hydrochloric acid to dissolve any of the gold foils that are in there, and we will see what we get at the end of it. Then when we do that, there's probably 0.02 of a gram or 0.2 of a gram or something, maybe, I don't know. Very little in it anyhow, but I'll keep that aside. And there's also some more to go into it actually, sorry. We also have this foil. So we have the contents of this, again, a lot of a mixture of bits of the phones and stuff like that. So that will be put in there as well. So this is kind of the rougher stuff, but again you can see gold foils left on the paper, so there is gold foils mixed in with it. But when you're doing the mobile phone boards, a lot of the green solder mask will come off and go into the solution as well. So it's just one of them things with the mobile phone boards. It's kind of what happens. So what do we get there? 19 grams then. So there's 19 grams on that little container. So again, we'll just put that aside. It all adds up on that. So maybe we might get, out of all that, we might get 0.5 of a gram or something, I don't know. We'll check it out at a later date and see how we got on. So we'll just put the next tub and we'll just zero it. Mode first, sorry, and zero it. So we'll just let that set again. So I'm just going to pause there for a second. Now we're back on again, so we'll just switch this on. I just had to do something else there. There we go. So 0 grams, and what we have then is, this is the one which will again have a little bit more of the gold foils in it. So it's a bit harder to work with than the mobile phones are a bit harder to work with than the actual fingers. So again, you can see it here. If I can get the camera to focus, you can see the actual gold foils are mixed in with a lot of other rubbish and stuff like that, but we can break it out. You can probably see it a bit better if we break them out. So again, make sure you have your gloves on when you're doing this, because there will be maybe residue of the acid still left there. Now again, I have a lot more mobile phones to do. I've just done a little sample of them to give you an idea of what is actually in them. I won't process this amount. I will wait till I have a good collection of the rest of the phones done before I process all the gold from them, so that I'm not wasting acid or anything like that. I want to get the full value out of the acid. So you can see the gold flakes in along mixed in with the other stuff, but the acid should take care of all that once we go to process the acid. So again, that was another 8 grams there. So hopefully between the two we might have half a gram, maybe a gram, something like that, of gold. Maybe less, I don't know. God knows what we have, to be honest. I'm just guessing on it. But so that's kind of it for the video, guys. I'll put them away. And oh yeah, before I finish actually, there was one more bit I want to show you. So what we're left with then, if we look in the filters, you can see there is more gold flakes, which are down at the bottom of the actual where I put the cotton wool to hold, to make sure nothing gets down through. So you can see why the cotton wool is so important. See how much flakes we caught there that have got through or got in past the thing. So again, what I do with them is I put them into this where I have other bits and stuff left over from previous filtrations. So we'll just put it in there and that falls out there, and then what we'll do is we'll wash that out and I'll refilter it. So you can see here there's a lot of gunk on there, but there is gold flakes on it. So again, that will be all done. So we have a few of them to put in. I don't want to lose any of the gold flakes. So that's another one. And again, there's some little bits of gold here which we've washed out and filtered. So again, some little gold flakes, not much on that one, not as much as there was on this one. As you can see there's a lot of gold flakes I've got through on that one. So again, I just clean it on the filters to make sure I'm not losing any of them. And this one as well, you can see the gold in there. So again, we'll just put that into that container, push it through, and that'll be all washed out to get any of the remainder gold. So again, you can see the gold flakes that have got through the filters. So that's why I use the cotton wool, to make sure that we're getting hold of everything and we're not losing any of it, because the gold is so minute. If we lose any of it, we're just maybe losing some of the money or profit out of doing this that you may have. So I'll leave that inside that tub, and you can see we have a nice little bit of gold. You can even see them there, the gold on the foils inside. Down here are more filters, so we're done. Again, what I might do with all this is I might wash these filters completely and try and get it out that way first, or I might just throw them straight into the acid and dissolve them with the nitric acid and the hydrochloric acid to make the acarija. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my lives that I do. I try and do them every Monday at 7 o'clock, and if not, keep an eye for them some other day during the week. I don't guarantee I'll be on every Monday, but I try to. And keep safe until the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share it out, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.